The US men's national team is set to face Canada this Sunday. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Filippo. Welcome to CanMNT TV. I am your host, and today we're going to be doing a match preview for US men's national team versus Canada. I'll be telling you the time, the date, location, where you can watch in the United States. We're also going to have a very special guest, Josh from JJDTV, that covers Canadian soccer. He'll be talking about their predicted starting 11, how they're probably going to play us, and at the end of the video, we will both give our predictions. Little spoiler alert. He gave a very rude prediction. You know, very Canadian. With that said, guys, if you enjoy this type of content, don't forget that we're going to also be doing a live watch along for this match on Sunday. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and let's start the preview. The US men's national team is set to face Canada this Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and the game will be hosted in the United States at Nashville. Throughout history, both nations have faced each other 38 times with 18 American wins, 10 Canadian wins, and 10 draws. Now, if you go from 1986 till today, we had 19 matches and Canada only managed to win one, which was the 2-0 win back in October of 2019. So somewhat recent, but over the past 1986, 20, 30 years, the US has dominated this matchup. However, this Canadian team is a lot different from the past, and this is probably the most talented generation they've ever had, along with the United States having the most talented generation we've ever had, even though they got a lot to prove, especially after that El Salvador performance. It was just not good at all. If you live in the United States, you may watch this match at Fox Sports 1, Unemás, or TUDN. Okay, before we bring Josh from JJDTV in, there's one thing I want to make it clear. There's no good result besides winning against Canada. We tied El Salvador, we have 1 point right now. Let's say we draw or lose to Canada. That means we finish 2 games with 1 point or 2 points. That's not good. And then we go to face Honduras away. And by the Twitter tacticians and the media's logic, tying with Honduras away is an acceptable result. So let's say we tie Honduras. So 1 point against El Salvador, 1 or 0 against Canada, 1 against Honduras. We finished 3 matches with 3 points. So out of 9, we get 3 points. Is that good? You're not going to make it to Qatar with that. So this game against Canada is a must win. So then we're going to go to 4. Then we go play Honduras, and hopefully we pull a win. If we don't, we're going to have 5 points, which is way better than having 3. With that said, I will be giving my prediction at the end of the video, but I fully expect us to bounce back, play a lot better, and win against Canada. Now let's bring in Josh from JJDTV, and let's do the preview with the United States and Canada. All right, Josh, rude Canadian, we meet again. Last time we came up top, we won, but you guys were very rude to us. You outplayed us throughout the game. You guys were much better in Gold Cup, but those are different teams. Canada's a different team. We have a different team as well. I would say both teams are much better than those that we saw. The coaches are the same, though, so yeah. There's that. How you doing, Josh?
I'm doing good. I mean, we have a lot to talk about today, considering both kind of disappointing results coming off of yesterday's game, but a lot of hype going up to the U.S. game, and I'm really looking forward to it, to be honest.
Yeah, so just to recap to everyone, even though everyone should be aware, the United States tied El Salvador 0-0 away, but it was not good. The performance wasn't good. The result itself is not the end of the world, but the performance was terrible. Canada tied Honduras at home, which technically the result would be considered worse, but Canada didn't play that bad in this match, all right? So, Josh, with that said, I watched the first half, and then I watched a glimpse of the second half because I was doing the stream. Can you walk us through the Canadian-Honduras match? What went right, what went wrong, what was good from Canada, what was bad, and why was it a draw?
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I think it was a draw just because at the beginning in the first half, Herdman, I think, overcomplicated things. And we usually see his trusted 3-5-2. It's a formation, like I said, with the 2 strikers, with David and Larin up front. The wing backs trying to play to Davies' strength. Now we have Buchanan. And it seemed like that was just written in the stars exactly what we were going to do. The lineup looked a little bit different, and I was wondering kind of how Larea fit in, and basically he was overcomplicating things. While with the ball, while in attack, we were playing in a 3-5-2 with Richie Larea playing as a center mid, a position you don't see him in. Almost pulled a Greg, just random. And he usually plays as a right back, left back.
I was going to say that.
It really was, because looking at the starting 11, I came up with 2 different formations, and one could have been played in a 4-4-2, one could have been played in a 3-5-2 in a variation, but he ended up playing Larea as a center mid, Buchanan out as right wing back, and we still did it pretty well in the opening minutes of that Honduras game, simply because Davies' wing play was incredible. He created a lot of chances, he was gliding through the defenders with ease, and as we lost the ball in transition, we switched back into a 4-4-2. So if Lorea was as a right wing back, he couldn't have been doing that switch and went to a left back. So I'm assuming just an attack, he put him as a center mid, that way he could get up, and then in transition, when we defend in a 4-4-2, he would drop back at left back. Very weird, never done it before, and I think it sometimes overcomplicated things, but like I said, at the beginning of the Honduras game, we were playing very well. Davies was creating chances, and a little better end product, or maybe he decided to take a hit rather than a pass, we could have got a lead. And then out of nowhere, he switched the wing back, so Buchanan went on the left, and Davies ran on the right, and it was my assumption is just for Buchanan to be able to cut in on his right. He got stopped pretty much every time, and then Buchanan led to a foul. They had a penalty shot, and they went up 1-0 against the run of play. Buchanan, one of my favorite revelations here, the Canadian national team, but that was probably the worst half I've seen from him. He was substituted at halftime. We went back to the 3-5-2. None of this switch and transition. We brought on Junior Hoylett, and again, dominated the game, led to a penalty for ourselves. A stubborn draw.
Yeah, I watched, so the first half, what I noticed was, one, you pointed out already, chances came out of Alphonso Davies pretty much, and what I felt that was missing was a strong presence in the box, which it came to my surprise, because you do have Jonathan David and Kyle Larin, and that's their thing. They have a strong presence in the box, but it seemed like every time Davies would do a play, you wouldn't see them there. At least Larin actually had an opportunity, he just didn't have a good finish, but I didn't see much from Jonathan David. That was probably my biggest disappointment in the first half. Second was Buchanan, because I expect more from David. Yeah,
no, I can't explain what happened to David in that game, but the word invisible was tossed around the chat, and it's not unfair, because Larin, what he did when he got involved is he dropped deep. David never dropped deep to pick up the ball. Larin's got a better body for that. He can shield the ball well, lay off, and I just think the focal point was Larin, and the runs that David were making, I don't know if they were getting in the way of Larin, but he just wasn't there. He wasn't on any balls, didn't have that urgency. It was just a bit of an off game for a striker who's put up 15 goals in 16 games for us, which bit of a surprise, but I guess it happens.
Yeah, he's also young, so we're going to have those ups and downs. And you talked about the tactics. I always say here on the channel that the key in the national team level is for the coach to keep it simple. You don't have much time with the players, so it's very hard to do those crazy variations. And you talked about John Herdman doing it, and we talk about Greg trying to do it. It sometimes seems like these coaches, more Greg, right? He comes with the club tactical mentality into the national team. So sometimes it'll work in the club level because he has all those months to work on it, and it won't work in the national team. But let's move on to the next topic here. I want you to give me very quickly a predicted starting 11, and then tell me if you would do that as well, or that's more of what you think he'll do, and you'll do something a little different for Canada.
But I mean, obviously going into the game, you know that we just picked up a point. I think that might change some of the perspective on the next couple games. In my opinion, it makes the El Salvador game even more important. There has to be rotation. So this is what I think Herdman will go with. I think he's going to stick with the 3-5-2 naturally and properly this time. No switch back to a 4-4-2. Just a simple 3-5-2. Play to their strengths. Borjan will stay in goal. Right wing back, I think, will be Richie Lorea. That leaves out Buchanan simply because he did not have a good game. And also, I think he may be released against the El Salvador at home. Outside right center back, Alistair Johnston. I don't see any other player being able to play that position. And a big shout out to Alistair Johnston, because beside Davies, he was by far the best player on the pitch. And in my opinion, almost irreplaceable on that outside right center back. Central center back, I think it's still going to be Vittoria. It could be Henry, but I'm going to stick with Vittoria. Outside left center back, it's going to be Kennedy over Miller. I think Miller had another really tough game after a really brilliant Gold Cup, but I think Kennedy's going to come in and play the next two games. Davies going to stick at outside left center or outside left wing back, just because I do think we're going to play our best players. I think that they have the potential to play all three, and I'm going to put Davies in. The two-man midfield, Hutch is going to be rested. I'm going to think Kay is going to come in alongside Eustachio, and then I'm going to put Hoylett up there as kind of like a cam in the three-man midfield, just because he came in at halftime, did it really well, and I think he's going to stick a little bit with that. And then the two strikers, again, David and Larin. So not a massive amount of switching it up and resting players, but enough for some other players, especially because some players in the Honduras game didn't have a good match. And honestly, that is the formation I think in personnel we're going to go with, and that's what I would do as well.
Okay, so it matches. So you responded both questions in one. So you're not expecting him, because there were rumors that Canada wanted to beat Honduras, go to the U.S., rest, and then beat El Salvador, come out with 6 points, which was a major win. So the draw with Honduras changes everything. You think Canada will bring their best available?
Like I think so, and like it's I mean those rumors that were going around, it made sense. If we won against Honduras, I think that could have changed the complexion a little bit going back home against El Salvador, but it's still a pretty strong U.S. or Canada starting 11. They started Miller in this first game, who in my opinion I think Kennedy's a little bit better of a player. He came on later in the game and looked really assured, so I think he's gonna get the start. So that's rested legs. Hutch, I think, is going to have one of the 2 games off. He's at 38 years old. He is very important. He was wearing the armband for us, but I think it's going to be the U.S. where you rest him, and that's where K comes in. But the big guns, I think so. And then, again, it leaves out Buchanan, who only played 45 minutes, but it may be Buchanan in the U.S. game instead of Larea, but it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a little bit of a switch up, and like I said, it could have also been Henry at the central center back, but it won't be the big men. I do think that Davies, Laren, and David will play all 3.
And hopefully you guys bring that drone that you use for Honduras and put it also to watch Greg Berhalter's practice, because that would just confuse the heck out of you.
Exactly.
I don't think the players that are always with Greg don't understand his tactics. So I think if Canada watches that, they'll get even more confused.
Exactly. And there's branding. The JJDTV branding is on the drone from Twitter, apparently. So, there you go.
Oh, they figured it out.
They did.
I'm going to give you now, not my predicted starting 11 for the U.S., but how I would go about, because I gave up on trying to predict what Greg will do. He can do something brilliant. He can do something terrible. He can be average. He always puts like at least one head scratch every lineup. There's at least like one guy that you're like, why? John Brooks was out and Tim Ream wasn't. Even though, to be fair, Tim Ream was fine in the game.
Yeah.
It was one of the bright spots of the U.S. So just to be fair, because people think sometimes I just criticize or not, I criticized Tim Ream being there at first, but he was fine. He was definitely not the issue with the team. So I think what I would do is I would actually go for 3-5-2. I would go for 3-5-2 as well. I think Canada's strengths are on the flanks, so we do need to have 3 in the back to cover for those fullbacks. And I would go for dual 6s, with Tyler dropping a little back to help get the ball forward, but it would be Weston and Tyler. But the formation would go like this. The goalkeeper, I personally don't care if it's Matt Turner or Zach Steffen. I think we know the limitations of Turner with his feet, but I think Turner's the best shot stopper. And apparently no one in CONCACAF can score on him besides Martinique. So yeah. I'm okay with Turner. Steffen, doesn't matter to me. The 3 in the back I would go with. The right center back would be Mark McKenzie, central center back John Brooks, and left center back Miles Robinson. My right wing back would be Serginho Dest. My left wing back would be Anthony Robinson. My dual 6s with McKennie with more freedom would be Tyler Adams, pretty much as a 6, and Weston almost as a. Would box-to-box 6 be a word? Yeah. Right? Yeah. Somewhat. Then Gio Reyna as the cam, the 10, creating off the middle. And then the 2 up top, I would have Pulisic and Pifak. Siabachu. He asked to get called Pifak now. So
Pifak, yeah.
And I would have Siabachu more static, which is how he plays. And Pulisic, essentially, I would just give him the freedom. Want to drop left, drop left. Want to drop right, drop right. You're free to play, Pulisic. You're a second striker. Roam around, find the spaces in between the half spaces, maybe on the defensive end, whatever it is. Give Pulisic freedom. That's what I would do. I think that would keep it simple. A lot of the players here are playing similar to their club position, besides Weston, because we don't know what's going on with him in Juventus. Yeah. Reyna, correct me if I'm wrong, he's playing as an 8 in Dortmund, but he has been shifting to the 10 a few times as well.
Yep, if they switch up to a 4-2-3-1, he goes up to the 10, but for the most part, in a 4-1-2-1-2, he's been playing as the 8.
Okay, so a 10 wouldn't be crazy for him.
No.
And I even think he's better. So we don't know how the U.S. will line up. We don't know how Canada will line up, but I think it should be along those lines. The U.S., to be honest, if I'm trying to predict not the lineup but the formation, Greg will probably go with a 3-4-3.
Yeah,
that's probably what he's going to go with. Okay, just to be honest. What's your score prediction for this game, Mr. Rude Canadian?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Again, like we said, I mean, it's hard to guess a score prediction, especially when we don't know what we're lining up with. I don't know. Why not be the rude Canadian? I'll say a draw. Why not? 1-1. 1-1 draw. Go to the States. Big upset. Make everyone a little nervous. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities. More than likely, the States will take it. But I'm gonna back the boys.
This is what I'll say. I'm gonna say 2-1 for the United States. And this could be a little biased. This could be a little just me dreaming, because we need a win, man. We can't go 2 games with 2 points. The pressure of 2017's failure will start to build up more and more and more, and players will start to get worried. Is this going to happen again? Because we also play Honduras away on Wednesday, And by the logic of the Twitter tacticians, a draw in that game is okay. So if we don't beat Canada, let's say we draw Canada, that's 2 points in play. So we finish these 3 games with 3 points. It's not good. So I'm going to say 2-1. I think we will end up conceding a goal. I think Jonathan David will have a better game. Alphonso Davies, it doesn't matter what we do. He will find ways to create, right? Alphonso Davies. He's just that type of player. He'll find the same way. I think whatever you guys do, I think Reina and Pulisic will create no matter what Canada does. They're players you just don't have much of an answer to. So I'm going to say 2-1 United States. A little bit of an American bias maybe. I can see a draw happening, a loss. But I'm going to go with United States winning this match. I still wish Canada the best of luck. Josh, anything else you want to add? Thank you very much. What else you want to add here?
No, I appreciate you having me on. This should be fun. My biggest question mark for the States is that number 9. I've always said it is the big issue for me for watching them, and Josh Sargent is living up to my bet with Yeet Yeet. But no, all in all, I can't wait for the game. I think it's gonna be fun watching these two hopefully relatively full strength national teams going at each other, and I'm sure you and I will have some fun in the meantime.
And just to add one thing, we did already, and it's probably at Josh's channel by the time you're watching this, we did a combined 11 of U.S. men's national team in Canada. We went with the formation we thought it was best, the players that we think would start. So give a look at that on Josh at JJDTV. The link is on the description. Hit the like button while you're at it, or dislike button, whatever you want to do. We don't care. Anything that interacts helps the channel. Thank you for watching, guys. Thank you very much. Have a great day, everyone.
Take care, guys.